A very warm welcome to you. Thank you for your time. This video is about the reason why the van four-wheel drive project hasn't appeared to have been ongoing. I assure you it is, and I'll explain that why in a minute. Why I have got this absolutely amazing shot on my computer right now. Two vehicles driving along the steppes in Mongolia. That is a trip that I have just completed, and also some reaction to a lot of people asking about the van, asking why I am not buying, why didn't I just buy an Iveco four-wheel drive van? It's a very good reason why I didn't buy an Iveco four-wheel drive van. I am Andrew St Pierre White, explorer, overlander and broadcaster with over 40 years driving 4x4s in association with the Overland Workshop. Well, I'll get to the Iveco thing because you can't. You cannot order an Iveco 4x4 van. Certainly you cannot in Australia. Chassis cab and other derivatives like that, yes you can. And the Iveco is a really interesting platform. I have a good friend in South Africa that has got one and has had, but he didn't buy a van. He bought a chassis cab and he built a camper onto the back of it. We're building a van. We of course are converting a HiAce. Now the reason why not Mercedes-Benz Sprinter? Well, because the Sprinter, firstly, isn't available in Australia, and secondly, it doesn't have a proper four-wheel drive system. Its clearance is mediocre and it does not have low range. Now, many of you will say, well, you don't really need low range. I completely disagree, fundamentally disagree. The perfect example, if you've been watching the Africa series with the troop carrier. Oh, I didn't tell you. The low range doesn't work on the gearbox. I can't get it into low range. Otherwise I would be able to get out of this. I can tell you I could crawl out of it really slowly. No low range. I'll just destroy the clutch. So we're going to do a recovery. I couldn't get it into low range, and we were in quite thick sand in northern Namibia, and we were struggling a little bit, and eventually I got bogged because I was not really paying attention to the driving and suddenly hit a very, very soft patch and couldn't get into low range. And then the next day, deeply bogged. And we had to force the car into low range. There was a fault with the gearbox, which we've subsequently discovered was actually a switch. There's a switch that when you put it into low range, it engages the switch and therefore allows electrical current to pass to the electrically operated differential locks on the back and front axles. And that was worn, and it was stopping the lever from moving all the way. It was an internal gearbox problem. So that was the fault that we had found. And we had found it while on the trail. Again, I've said this many times, and a lot of arrogant South Africans have accused me of bad preparation, and I won't get into that. I said that I had paid the price because I hadn't taken it on a test trip. This was a complicated build. We had taken a vehicle with 500,000 kilometers and stripped the thing bare virtually. We took everything out but the engine and rebuilt it and did quite a tough trip and didn't test it properly. And it was a time issue. And should I have made the time? Sure, I can beat myself up like you're trying to beat me up for it. But the truth is, I live in Australia and I have a business to run. And so went out to Africa and had this amazing adventure. And it was absolutely amazing. And it wasn't spoilt in any way whatsoever by not being able to get the car into low range, because I just adapted the trip. And it was a huge success. And I love my Africa truck. We are changing the engine and gearbox. More about that in other videos. Back to the van. We got stuck because, and out came the Max Tracks and the kinetic ropes.
Guys, your holes aren't big enough.
I also have learned that I'm not going to film getting stuck anymore. If I get stuck, I'm just not going to film it. The attacks, the four-wheel drive community is so full of know-alls that I find it very frustrating. I like to read comments and I like to react to comments, but I'm finding it more and more difficult because of people making the assumption, why didn't you let your tire pressures down? Of course I let my tire pressures down. Please give me a little bit of credit. I've been doing this for 40 years. I know these things. So I have to wade through this negativity, and I find it difficult. So I do have some changes in mind, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. And so really this is for you guys, the fans of the channel, the people that come into the channel and watch the channel because you love the content and you enjoy my company as much as I enjoy yours. They're financed by Patreons. You Patreons that support the show, you make it possible. I've said that again and again and again, and it's absolutely true. Back to the van. Try and get back to this van. Without low range, I wouldn't have planned that trip. I would have stayed on easy gravel roads. You have to have low range, not necessarily because you're planning to have to use it, but if you don't have low range and good clearance, you're driving along thinking, gee, I hope the road doesn't get any worse. Whereas if you have a fully equipped four-wheel drive, you're thinking, hey, maybe it'll get a bit worse. You see the difference? I'm accused of, I only do soft roading. I don't go seeking real shit to drive over purely because driving over shit is my thing. It's not. I'm not interested. What I'm interested in doing is finding places like our campsite on the Kwando River. We got stuck on the way to the campsite on the Kwando River. Had I had low range in that Landcruiser, that whole recovery piece would not be in that video, because I would have been in low third and gone straight through, even with that underpowered engine. So for a vehicle to have proper off-road performance, it must have low ratio gearing. End of story. And it must have adequate, generous clearance. So the HiAce has both of those things. The reason why the HiAce has been delayed the project's been delayed for such a long time is mainly due to the fact that, well, unlike Troopies, where you can select and buy from a wide catalogue of products from various manufacturers to improve it and tweak it and get it just right, the HiAce is just plain not like that. We have to develop these products ourselves. But the other part about it is that, okay, we're going to develop all these products. For example, it's going to be a 4-seater and with all of the camping built into it. So how are we going to do that? Well, we want to make the interior modular. How do we do that? Well, it means we have to install a floor that will allow us to do that. Are those things available on the market at the moment for us to install? Well, the answer is yes. We are researching what is available, how does it work, how easy is it to fit, will it suit our purposes? Nothing is said. We have to experiment with absolutely everything. What about the seats in the back? Because the van we've got is not it's not a multiple seater. It's a 2-seater. The multiple seater won't work for us because it won't allow us to do the interior the way we want it. So we have to find a solution for the 2 seats in the back. Are those available off shelf? It turns out, yes, because we've been doing a whole lot of research. So now we're in the process of starting to actually do the builds. What about a roof conversion? Everything available, everything, Everything we have seen available for vans is rubbish. And when I say rubbish, they've only, yeah, we'll cut a hole in the roof and we'll put a pop-up. That's not what we want. Anybody can do that. What we want, and I'm actually not going to tell you what we want. What we want is something that has never been done with a van anywhere, period, because people don't understand what we understand about what this could be. We have teamed up with a company to build a roof conversion lift. And I have yet to see the designs, but I've been told that the design work is advancing brilliantly, and they're very excited to show me what they have come up with, and I am very excited to see it. They, as far as I can see, have ticked every box. This had to be designed from scratch. This is not something that we can just, as I said, buy and fit. We have to develop it. The other part of this is the 48 volt system. 48 volts in a living area in a van changes everything. Imagine being able to camp on the beach in Australia in summer and run the air conditioning all day. Think about that. How is that possible? How do you store enough energy and then transmit it around the vehicle so that you can run not a little travel buddy, a proper little oven, a proper oven, 2 kilowatt oven, etc. Even hot water on demand is a question mark. Could we do that? Maybe. In other words, no water boiler, heat the water as it comes through the shower. Is that possible? Well, all of these things are being developed. The other side of this, which is very important, of course, we could develop all these systems. And I know that a lot of people are going to say, wow, that's groundbreaking. And I promise you it is. Wow, that's groundbreaking. I want that. And we say, well, we made it ourselves. Isn't that cool? This isn't just for show. This is for something that we are going to be able to enable people to build themselves, or maybe even we build it for you. That part is a bit of an unknown at this moment. There's no point in us creating all of these amazing systems in this van and creating this absolutely astonishing platform, proper off-road platform. I have to almost say that every single time because people see vans on Instagram. This is not an Instagram van. It's an off-road touring van with all of the ingredients for proper off-road and all of the ingredients to be super comfortable for 4 people camping out of a van. To me, this is groundbreaking, and that is why I said in the very first video in this series, changing the van landscape forever. That wasn't said lightly. So thank you for your patience. Heiner is on his way back from Germany. He's back in about 2 weeks' time, and we are now, when they're going to go and do a trip, not in the van. The van is still not close to being ready. I'm doing it in my troop carrier, and we are going to go and do more business planning on how we're actually going to be able to bring these products to market, because we don't have a system right now to do that. And so we want to be able to offer this solution either in the individual products or maybe as builds. As I said, we are going away to go and brainstorm that. But the build of the van itself will be explained in a lot of detail. So if you want to build it yourself, that's the purpose of this channel. Thousands of troop carrier owners owe their builds to me. And I say that's a grandiose thing to claim, but there's a reason for it. I was the very, very first. I had the very, very first proper pop-up solution on YouTube in the world in 2012, and then another one in 17, and another 2. A little over 5 minutes to pack away the entire. And so many influencers saw that, copied that. I don't mind. It's flattery. You copy that design and you use that design, and the worldwide audience sees it and says, that is so brilliant. It's absolutely wonderful. And they go out and they buy Troopies, and and a few even copy the color of my cars. But the principle of the troop carrier is this incredible convenience when camping. And I always say to people, 90 seconds, I'm done. I have a beer in my hand. Everything is done. My bed's made. I've got hot water for anybody who needs a shower. The cooking thing is out, ready for a cook. My chair is out. I am now doing the thing that I came here to do, whether that be staring at the ocean, taking pictures of butterflies, or reading a book in the shade of the awning. 90 seconds. And to pack away, about 2 minutes. Whole thing, 2 minutes. The van's going to be like that. The van is definitely going to be like that. Maybe even faster. But our goal is equal to or better than troop carrier when it comes to speed of setting up camp. Comfort-wise, far better than troopy. And that's our goal. Right, now, this thing has turned itself off. I mentioned that I had on my desktop a shot of Mongolia. I've just come back from Mongolia. I'm wearing the Miles Overland t-shirt. We've teamed up with Miles Overland. They're a company based in Ulaanbaatar, which is the capital of Mongolia. They called me and they said, have you ever thought about coming to Mongolia? And my answer was, many times. Why are you asking? Why are you asking this question? They said, well, why don't you come with us on a trip? They offer tours, guided. You drive their vehicles. And I have to say right now, the vehicle I had, which was a 4Runner, was very well equipped. The ride was good. It was a good car, well set up car, and we had an amazing time in Mongolia. That video will be released on YouTube in about 2 weeks' time, approximately, give or take. And so, and also the Mongolia is, I cannot praise it high enough for an overlanding destination. It is amazing. Imagine a country where, I mean, most of the population live in the capital city. Getting out of the capital city, and immediately you're in open grasslands, and no matter which way you go, there are almost no fences in Mongolia, almost none. So and wild camping is, there are nomads with little settlements all over the country. Wild camping can be done absolutely anywhere. It's absolutely safe. I mean, I'm told it's absolutely safe, and while we were there, we felt absolutely safe. People are friendly, a little bit difficult to connect with because of the language barrier, but we had brilliant guides to take us through, to show us the ropes, and we met some wonderful people, and I cannot praise it highly enough as a destination for overlanding. The landscapes, the vistas, the culture, brilliant. So that coming very, very soon. To wrap this up, an admission here in something that is concerning me, and I'm not sure how to deal with this. If I look at my shows, I get 3 to 4 times more views on a vehicle build than I will on a trip, which means that more and more people are actually being attracted to builds than my trips. Many of those that watch the builds complain that I never do trips. That's because you're not subscribed. You haven't asked YouTube to recommend to you my trips. They know that you like to watch the builds, so they only recommend the builds. You never get to see the trips because YouTube doesn't tell you about the trips. because it thinks you're not interested. So if you're interested in the trips as well as the builds, you've got to click that little notifications bell. Tell YouTube to tell you whenever I'm releasing a video, and then you will get the trips as well. The last thing is that for 2024, as I wrap up my 40-year celebration, 40 years overlanding, Mongolia was country number 22. 22. 5 continents. I want to try and do at least another 5 brand new countries before my 10 years is up. What countries should they be? If you have a product, when I say product, a travel product in another country, Miles Overland, when they contacted us, said, yes, we would love you to come. We said, yes, we would love to come. However, you're going to need to pay our airfare. We'll make the film, we'll do the Instagram stuff, we'll shoot all the still photographs, we'll process them, we'll edit you a film, we'll do all of that. Assist us by paying the airfare. They said, not a problem. They paid our airfare. So if you have a travel product and you would like us to make a film for your travel product, no matter where in the world you are, hopefully a very interesting destination, Alaska, for example, Argentina, Brazil, Colombia, these are just countries that I'm, Spain. I was actually thinking about doing something in Scotland. I won't do the accent. I promise I won't do the accent when I get there. Although it'll be very tempting. Maybe places in Northern Europe. I don't know. You would have to supply us with a vehicle to do the trip. I can do a highlight of your vehicle. We can plan a trip, whether we do a trip with you or on our own. I don't really mind. And all I'll ask is you pay our expenses to get there. That's it. Think about it. Because I know, being this age, there will be a time in the not too distant future where I can't really do these challenging trips. Mongolia was challenging. It was not an easy trip. It was fantastic. Gwyn came with me. You'll love the show. It's very funny in parts. And we want to do more. Thank you for your time today. If you want to start with supporting the show, hey, the link is in the description. Become a Patreon. See you next time.